Would you like to start working as the tech recruiter and you don't know how much money to ask for? So if you would like to work commission only, you essentially have two options. One, you would work for a client of yours. So we call it a direct client because you are directly connected with the client. Or the option number two would be to work through a commission only network. So obviously the commission you earn is different. Okay, so in this video I will walk you through those options. Okay, so option number one, you have a direct client. Obviously it's not easy. I will actually talk about this in a few minutes. But once you get the direct client, then it could be very profitable. You know, it could be very lucrative because clients are used to paying over 10,000 euros or dollars for a successfully hired candidate. Obviously, it depends on how much you negotiate with the client. So the low end is about 15% and the high end is about 25% of the candidate's annual salary. So imagine you manage to place a test automation engineer. In other words, you may find a test automation engineer who is hired by the client. So then the client pays you the commission. And the salary of the test automation engineer could be 50,000, it could be 70,000, it could be $100,000 per year, right? It depends on the seniority. Just as an example, let's say it is $50,000. Well, then it depends on your commission, right? If you agree with the client that they will pay you 15%, then it will be 15% from 50,000, which is about $7,500 that you will invoice directly the client. Okay, so that's quite a lot of money, right? Imagine you place two of these per month. That's plenty of money, right? If you have the client to work for directly. But even better, if you manage to negotiate 25% of the annual salary of the candidate, then you can bill $12,500 for the hired candidate. That's really cool, isn't it? Okay, so you will be somewhere between 7,500 and 12,500. But also imagine you would get the candidate who gets, let's say, $86,000 per year. Well, then your commission could be 20,000, right? And that's kind of awesome if you imagine how many companies are looking for IT professionals and how many professionals get a job every day, right? Every day, every month, you know, so that's kind of crazy. Now imagine you manage to hire a CTO and the salary could be even higher than 120. I'm just writing this number because recently we managed a CTO to be placed and the salary was about 120. You know, in Europe, the salaries are lower than in the United States, but if you work in the US, maybe you can place a CTO for 180,000. In that case, if you have 25% commission, you could bill $45,000 for the hired CTO. It's not easy, you know, I don't want you to think this is easy. You just wake up one day and you will have 10 clients lined up to work with you and you will bill them 45,000 every week. It's not that easy, but this is how it works, right? You do some client acquisition, you onboard a new client, you get their requirements, you start working on those commission only. And as soon as you get someone hired, then you get the commission. You may also not get anyone hired, right? That's the risk of doing this business. You may get the commission, but you also may not get the commission. If you get it, you will be somewhere between these numbers. Okay, and the option number two is to work through a commission-only network. There are different networks out there. Recruit Instantly is one of them that pays on the higher end of the scale. There are some other networks where they pay you 10%, but I mean, what is that, right? So you can get for a hired test automation engineer with about 50,000 euros or dollars in annual salary, you can get somewhere between $700 and $3,000. So, you know, 3,000 is great in this case because you don't do any business development, you don't provide refunds or guarantees or whatnot. Okay, so just when there is a hired candidate, you submit through the network, and once the candidate is hired, they pay you the commission. So that's very cool. If you place a Java backend engineer, then you will get somewhere around, let's say, 3, 4, up to $5,000 or euros through the network. Again, very cool, right? But even if you get these lower numbers, let's say $800 or $1,000 per placed candidate, it could be great if you manage to go for the volume. So in this case, I would suggest you focus on a few roles, such as a front-end developer or a Java developer, and build strong talent pools of these specialists. So that's something I cover in the training programs. You can, by the way, learn more about our training programs on our website, which is the Tech Recruitment Academy. And yeah, you can learn more about how to start working as a freelancer and how to build a talent pool so that you can increase the speed of placing candidates. But anyway, going back to our commission table, you can see the pros and cons of these two options. So it is obviously hard to get these clients because plenty of companies, agencies, and individual recruiters fight for onboarding these. You would need to do kind of account management. It's not just about having the client, but before you get the client, you would need to onboard them. You would need to take care of the legal stuff. You need to have some contracts in place, right? And that takes time and money. Obviously, as I mentioned, the commission is higher once you manage to place a candidate. So that's very cool. You probably want to have these clients, but you would not start with these clients right away. You could start with the commission only network because that's easier. Okay, so even if the commission is lower, but it is easier to get your foot through the doors. With the direct clients, you also commit to filling the role, because once they take you as the recruiter who works for them, then they also expect that you would not give up after 3 days, right? You would need to work on it probably after 2 months still, and you don't have the guarantee that you would get money. We had clients we've been working for 3 months. We were looking for some IT professionals, and then they haven't hired anyone. So that's kind of risky. That's the cost of doing this business. But once you manage to get those placements, it is very, very lucrative, as you can see. You also need to guarantee a replacement, which is something to think about, because if you work on your own, then this could easily backfire. Just imagine a scenario when you work on a role for 3 months, you finally manage to get someone placed, you are exhausted, you would like to shift to some other role or another client. Maybe you sign another client by then and you promise them that now starting on September 1st, you can start working for them. And then the candidate from your first client drops and you are still in the guarantee period. So you need to start looking for the replacement. But now you have the other client to work for, and that could get really messy, because what do? If you refund the money, then it essentially means that you need to pull the money out of your pocket and return it to the client. Well, anyway, we can discuss this later during the Tech Recruitment program if you'd like. To learn more about how to get into this business. The second option, joining the recruiting network, is easier. You don't do any account management. You don't even know what the name of the client is. So you don't have to chase them. You just get the requirement saying like, hey, Joe, this company is looking for a cybersecurity specialist in Berlin. Just send us CVs of candidates and we will pay you the commission. Okay, so it's as easy as that. You don't commit to fulfilling the role. You don't need to guarantee the replacement, anything. So yeah, that's kind of easy, straightforward. In this short video, I wanted to give you an idea of how this works so that you can see whether the commission only work would be a good fit for you. You can also look at our website to see how you can get a full-time job, which would be more secure, but the compensation is not as attractive, right? But it's more stable. So you can just go to our website and check the menu item, how to get a job. And you can learn more about getting the full-time job, what kind of interview questions you can expect, how to prepare for those questions. And if you are not a seasoned IT recruiter just yet, then you could, by the way, start with learning actually all of these technical terms and programming languages and just the tools, so that you know how to find these people, how to speak with the hiring manager, because these managers and clients, they will quickly see that you don't know much about IT, right? So I would suggest you first go through one of our live training programs, either the booster class or master class, learn about IT so that you are confident in IT recruiting. We could even give you real projects to work on. You can build your portfolio and your CV. You can submit candidates through Recruit instantly as the part of the masterclass. That would give you experience and confidence so that in 3 months or 6 months or in a year, you can go to meet a client and you can say like, hey, look, I've been working on all of these positions. I built the talent pool and now I can start working for you. So we had plenty of people go through our training programs. They now work for really cool companies. They work for companies around the globe. So you can just go to our website to learn more about how you can change your career for the better as well.